Hi, this is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com and also healingsuicide.com. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, channel medium, energy worker. And this video is on Chiron. This is on the Chiron Return. And this is, it's a cycle thing, right? It's a life cycle thing where Chiron's orbit is 50.42 years. And so around age 50 and then around age 100, people will have what's called a Chiron return. So its orbit is 50 years, right? So you think about Chiron's down here for you in, in Aries in the first house or whatever, and it takes 50.42 years to return to that place. So in astrology jargon, we just say 50 years, but around age 50, you're going to have what we can think of as this infusion of Chiron energy into your own Chiron. So the idea of a return is when the transiting body that's orbiting the sun returns to the same degree and minute of your own natal placement. So a solar return is a birthday chart because the sun is taken, 360 degrees or, however many days in a year, 365, whatever, to go around and it meets it again. So during your birthday, you have an infusion of sun energy to your natal sun. Same with the Mercury return, which you may have, several times a year. Mars return, Venus return every couple of years, Jupiter return every 12-ish years. So there's this idea, kind of inserting this teaching on returns in here. But the idea of a Chiron return, this infusion of chironic energy into your Chiron. So what does it mean? Well, that's where I have to either introduce you to or remind you of my unique approach to Chiron. Because whatever your natal Chiron is doing, whatever you experience with your natal chironic energy sensitivity is how I think of it. I look at wounding and healing as byproducts of energetic and emotional sensitivity. Being an empath, being sensitive to the energies in the world around you and the emotions in other people. Whatever you're doing, however you experience it around your Chiron return, the door is open for this infusion of sensitivity. So things get opened up. You feel more of that sensitivity. Whatever the wounding is, which you can check out my other videos on YouTube about feeling rejected at birth. That's Chiron's deal. And for some people, for some people it is like that. Like dear listener or watcher, it could be like that for you. But for other people in modern times, it can be that sense of I don't feel safe and secure, the chironic wounding from being an infant. But that is imprinted before we are able to deal with it. So you're carrying probably, potentially, an inner child who's afraid of rejection or afraid of not being loved and supported. We could say that of all children in certain, at certain times of life. But this idea is with the Chiron wounding, something is imprinted. If I do this way of being, the sign, if I act in this part of life, the house, then I fear I might be rejected or that I might not be worthy of love and support. And then you grow up and you're living your life. And then when it gets triggered, a sad, hurt, angry infant gets involved, takes over. So anyway, that's the idea of the Chiron wounding. Well, at the return around age 50, and this, for some people it could start at age 48 and last till 52. Like there can be a few years in there. It does matter how long it actually takes, astronomically. So it's important to understand the degree of your Chiron and also be able to read in a chart, advancing dates or in an ephemeris, like where it is. I'll tell you that this recording is at the December 7th, 2019. The times we're living in right now, Chiron returns will take longer than ever because toward the end of Pisces, 0 Aries, this is the place where Chiron spends its most of its time. Out of that 50-year orbit, I want to say 16, 17 years between Pisces and Aries together. So almost a third of its entire orbit are in those two signs. So right now, as Chiron transits about 1.5 degrees Aries and it is stationing direct, so it has been retrograde for several months, it's seeming to stand still in a place where it spends a lot of time. So if you're right around age 50 now at the end of 2019, you're feeling this. But anyway, it takes longer now, and Chiron transits to your natal chart now are lasting longer than Chiron transits for all of us 10 years ago, 10 years from now. Okay, so around the return, you might feel that inner infant come up. You might feel very sensitive to energy and emotion, or even loud noises, or people's laughter. You know, you might need to nurture that inner kid is part of the point. But you're living your life, you're 50 years old, you think you know what you're doing, and then this happens. So that's, you know, the nature of the Chiron return. Now, every year at your solar return or during a Mercury return, this does not happen, because we're talking about the archetype of Chiron, the experience of feeling energetically and emotionally sensitive. So this is unique among all the returns that you will have over the course of a number of years. So if you believe that you can be either wounded or a wounded healer, and this is the prevalent view in astrology, you know, since a lot of people have been working hard since its discovery in 1977 to work on various approaches to it. And it can seem as though, if you study these approaches, which are valuable, and I recommend you read everything you can get on Chiron and just feel into what's true for you. If you believe that you can be either a wounded or wounded healer, you're going to be stuck in one of those two modes or going back and forth. If you believe that you can't heal the wound, then you're buying into a worldview which I've been trying to add something positive and productive to. So basically, my Chiron teaching is different. And I'll just tell you right now, during December 2019, the natal report through my site is 20% off. So I'm linking to that in the description of the video. And also in February, I'm doing a small group healing intensive. And as of this recording, it's February 6th through 9th in Portland, Oregon. As of this recording on December 7th, 3 spots are still open. And the Chiron Healing Intensive. And I'm linking to that in the description too. But there are ways to redefine what the wound is and what the pain means, so that you no longer feel constantly worth rejection or not worth love and support. So I have another video from 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago on YouTube here, Can the Chiron Wound Be Healed? ? And in it I say, yes, but you have to redefine what the wound is and what you think healing is. So around the Chiron return, other transits of Chiron to your natal chart, you know, they're important regarding those parts of you being sensitized by Chiron, right? Then transits and progressions to your natal Chiron are huge for opening up the wound so that you can learn how to heal it. But at the Chiron return, there's a special window of time wherein you have the chance to feel fully the sensitivity and the vulnerability of Chiron within you, including the pain or the sense of rejection or not being worth loving that inner kid carries, and transform it. So otherwise fully functional 50-ish year old adult person, human being, you might, you know, find yourself a bit overwhelmed and needing to cry or be sad or be afraid or something like that. And that is part of you speaking through emotion. So anyway, around the Chiron return, it's an opportunity to confront the sensitivity, the pain, the woundedness, and to learn how to turn it around. And like I said, the wound can be healed if you redefine what healing is and you understand that Chiron's wounding isn't the inadvertent poisoning that is used as the basis of the Chiron work in astrology, except for my work, at least thus far. And the thing that leads to his death, right? He can't die because he's immortal. So he's inadvertently wounded, various part, you know, leg, foot, other leg, thigh, whatever. Poison of his own making, whatever he did to himself, somebody else did it by accident, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the point is he's inadvertently poisoned, but he's immortal, so he can't die. So we have this like, woe is me suffering thing. That's how we get this idea. If you can't heal yourself, your own wound, but you can help others. If you look instead as that, as the second wounding, you can understand that being rejected by your mother at birth, which is what Chiron went through in this mythological story. His first story about him is being rejected at birth. That's extremely important and impactful. So anyway, if you look at that sense of rejectedness and realize there's an inner child who feels that still within you, then you can learn to work with it. So my invitation to you is to rework what you think the wound is, to rethink what it means that you feel others' pain, that you feel pain in general, that you have pain, that you sometimes fear being rejected, that you have potentially all the time a sense of vulnerability, sensitivity to how others react to you. Again, house, sign, and aspect tells the whole story. Sometimes people ask me to do Chiron-focused consultations. I'm happy to do that. You can see that on the consultations page on my site. Just pick one of the consultations or even coaching packages and we can focus on that. But again, the Chiron Natal Report is 20% off during December, and also the Chiron Healing Intensive for a small group in Portland, Oregon in February 2020 is on. So anyway, I invite you to rework how you experience your human heart and your vulnerability and your willingness to feel and embody and carry with you compassion, but also have healthy boundaries. And that's basically the whole point of my Chiron teaching. Well, that and how Chiron figures prominently in the work and the channeling work I've done. This is where my Chiron teaching comes from, at least the first part of it, before I developed it into a full-on astrology teaching and articulating all of the houses, signs, and aspects. What I'm talking about, sensitivity, the human heart, compassion, energetic boundaries, honoring that we're energetic beings and emotionally sensitive. That's a teaching that comes from the Ascended Master Hermes, who's also known as Jehudi, Thoth, Saint Germain, Merlin. And so Chiron, in that being's view, is the key to human evolution, the evolution of consciousness, human evolution, as we are now on the cusp of the Aquarian Age, of learning how to individuate. And this is a lot about how we deal with ourselves as energetic emotional beings. Can we become the source of love for ourselves and heal that inner kid? Or is that inner kid within us looking to latch onto somebody else for a sense of safety and validation? So anyway, a lot of resources on my site about Chiron, and I hope you can check them out and check out the other videos on this playlist. It is something that I specialize in, along with Lilith and Karmic Story and all this kind of thing. But anyway, thanks for your time and energy. Check out tdjacobs.com. Oh, and also I'll say this. One of the things about Chiron is, especially around the time of the Chiron return, the reality that we've absorbed energies from our loved ones and also just from the world around us can loom large, right? We might get into that heart and realize it needs to overflow. We don't know where all this stuff came from. Some of it might not be yours. So right now, I'm actually offering another deal, which is 4 90-minute channeled energy work MP3s with energy work from Archangel Metatron and teaching and lecturing from Ascended Master Jehudi or Thoth Hermes, Saint Germain. 4 for the price of 1. I'll put the link in the description as well. It's called A Thank You, because it's kind of a thank you for 15 years of support and encouragement and support from this community. I've been very fortunate to be able to pull in to create a kind of a community together through the work that I do. So anyway, take care of yourself and check me out at tdjacobs.com. Bye-bye.